Will the virtuous Sangha, out of compassion, for the sake of this assembly and all living beings, please turn the wonderful Dharma will to teach and guide us how to end birth and death, leave suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. Hướng thính đại đức tăng thịnh, vì tứ pháp hội cập nhật thiết chúng sanh. Thịnh chuyên diệu pháp luân giáo đạo ngã môn, như há liêu sanh thoát tư lý khổ đắc lạc, tốc chứng vô sanh. Homage to the Blessed, Noble, and Perfectly Enlightened One. Nam mô Sudden Enlightenment La Hri San Miao San Pu Tô Xie. Nam mô Ta Tha Tha Tu Ya Da Ya La De Tam Miao Tam Bồ Đà Tọa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I'm able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual principles. Wu shang sheng she wei miao fa bai jian wan jian na zhao yu, wo jin jian wen de shou chi, yan jie ru lai zhen shi yi. O Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Venerable Huineng, Venerable Xinhua, Venerable Lefeng people, and all good knowing advisors, Emituofo. 诸佛菩萨、六祖、师父、上人、各位出家人、各位善知识，阿弥陀佛。Chư Phật Bồ Tát kính thưa lục tổ, hòa thượng Tỳ Hoa, quý thầy cô và quý vị thiện tri thức A Di Đà Phật. All right, hello everyone. Today is the 8th of November 2020, and we are here to continue discussing the 6th Patriarch Sutra. If I can get on this. Okay. We're presently on chapter 8, Sudden and Gradual Enlightenment, slide 80. This is a very, very difficult topic to explain to you. In particular, you know, the typical you hear of the Chan dialogue between two Chan masters who are one high level teaching and the lower Chan master. It's incomprehensible. Okay, but at least there's some meaning to it. You get some clues. But in the particular case here, this is chapter 8 here. This is we go through this. We're learning about enlightenment. Enlightenment is the end goal of cultivation in Buddhism, where you open your wisdom and you are able to elevate yourself from the confusion, from all this mess we are in here with Donald and everyone else, temporarily. I promise I will not be talking about it anymore today. But the point being that we as ordinary people, ordinary living beings, our lives are compared to living in a dream. And what we see, what we hear, what we taste, what we smell appears to be real to us, but actually it's all false. So far so good. Are you still with me? You can walk out of here. It's okay. It's not for everyone. The Buddhists sometimes are crazy. But if I'm allowed to continue, so our lives are just like a dreams. And enlightenment is like waking up from that dream. And then we back to reality. Reality of your true self, your Buddha nature, okay? And that's what enlightenment is about. Buddhist enlightenment is about. It's not a concept, okay? It's not knowledge. It's a state of being, a state of awakening, being awakened. And this is why the devout Buddhists, at least those who call themselves to be devout Buddhists, the true Buddhists, those true believers are the ones that invariably know the biggest prize of them all is it, okay? Enlightenment. Why am I talking like this? Let me tell you. May I? It's a very sad story. 25 years ago, I came to Buddhism from corporate America. I walk in there, I have these ambitious goals, like most people in corporate America typically do. I didn't know what the goal was, but I knew I was after something pretty big. Whatever it was, I didn't think of it as enlightenment or more in terms of big temple, lots of disciples, lots of money. Sound familiar, you monks out there and nuns? I said, really, I was living in a dream. Okay? So I walked in there, in my master's temples, having all these grandiose plans, all these aspirations. I'm going to be a man after all, a real man after all. And I was feeling pretty good because I chose to follow a short Chinese monk who was enlightened. He's one of the best teachers there is, okay, for centuries. He's dead already. I mean, sadly. There are a lot of disciples of his in San Jose, so we need to be careful. And one right there, a spy from that side, the one in red. Okay, so I was feeling pretty good. I said, well, if he's going to be around for 25 years, I have plenty of time. He says, I'm not going to die until I'm 100 years. He was only 73. So I said, 25 years, that should be enough. 4 months into after I shaved my head, he croaked. He died. Without teaching me, I thought at the time, nothing. Okay? So his disciples, my peers, my elder Dharma brothers, were supposed to train me because they've been with him for 20, 30 years back then. So they must know, right? I always said, it's not that bad, just in case I was looking at Vietnamese masters, Chinese masters, and so forth. I couldn't find anyone yet, so I said, well, I'll stick around for a while, okay? And we're going to get trained anyway, so what's the hurry? Yeah. And so this senior monk here, who wanted to teach me. And you have to grant the fact that he's good-hearted. He wanted to help me. Okay? Those people are good people from that red thing there side. They're good people. That's as far as I can go today. Remind me, okay? There's limits to everything we do. The good-hearted people. But you know what they told me? One of the senior monks told me, who wanted to help me. He says, "Why are you so stupid?" See, he's talking to me. You know who I am? You know where I've been? You know what I've done? I said, "Why are you so stupid?" See, it really woke me up. It must be Sudden Enlightenment, right? Shock treatment, shock and awe. Something like that. Back then, there's no shock and awe yet. So I said, wow. So he says, "Why are you so stupid?" He says, "Get this straight in your mind, once for all. There is no prize." I said, "What? Say what?" In my mind, I said, "Say what? No prize? What the heck am I doing here?" As a Westerner, Western educated person, how can you live? How can you do anything without a prize? Alone, do you agree? See? Made my point. So this guy who wanted to help me says, "There's no prize." Let me tell you, today, I beg to differ. There is a prize that's called the best you can be, your highest potential. It's called enlightenment, setting for nothing less than that. That's our prize. Thank you. That should have a sign back there that says applause. Okay? Yes, Buddhism has a big prize. It's called enlightenment. It's available to any of us. Okay? And in Mahayana, you have two ways to go about it. Sudden enlightenment, there's a way where you can leap, okay? Or you can inch towards it, crawl towards it, I put it. Okay? It's called gradual enlightenment. So you walk step by step, stroke by stroke. That's called gradual enlightenment. Okay? And then there is also another way, is sudden enlightenment, where you become enlightened. You got your prize. This is how long it takes. Even faster than this. I feel better now, thank you. Say, yeah. And you know what? People have attained sudden enlightenment. And it confirms for me personally, there's such a thing as that price. That you can do sudden enlightenment, sudden teaching. Okay? Let the red people stay where they are. Hey, you have anything to say? You from the other side? So for her in particular, as long she's here, we know what they're looking for. Baby steps. Yes? You only want gradual, right? That's all you guys want. And what do we want? Thank you. And in this chapter 8, it is a beautiful illustration of gradual and sudden enlightenment. This very first case here, we only at slide 80. This is the first case, right? Zhì Chéng, right? We've been still talking about the same monk. Okay? There's a monk who is a spy from the other side. Okay? And who was one of the best students from the other side, that the teacher sent over to the 6-page chart, to spy on the 6-page charts. Technology. Sounds familiar? China, America. Soviet Union, America. That kind of thing,
Canadian.
Excuse me. Canada doesn't do that, do they? North Korea? Because Master Huideng, the 6-page chart, was so successful. He trained so many people who became, through the Sudden Enlightenment Dharma door, that Cheng Xiu became anxious. He says, I better find out what it is, and let me send my best students over there to spy on this monk for me. So Zhì Chéng came along, and Zhì Chéng is the hardworking, devoted, loyal to misguided loyalty, but still counts as something. Loyalty to your emperor. So he came over, and this is like the 4th week we talk about this case, right? And the more we talk about it, the more I enjoy, and the more time we spend on it, the more I appreciate the details of this process, where it beautifully explains gradual enlightenment and sudden enlightenment and their relationship. Okay, we need to be clear about it, because the Chinese, failed to explain it properly, in my humble opinion. Okay, here's the relationship. Again, gradual enlightenment is like you go to preschool, and then elementary school, and 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, and so forth. Okay, so you have to make progress incrementally, gradually, if you will. So far, so good. Okay, that's what you have to do, and eventually, after a long, long time, you reach your prize. You get your prize. Okay, so it's called gradual enlightenment. So far, so good. That's what it means. That's all it means. Very simple. And what is sudden? Sudden is you go you leap like a frog. So you call yourself Frogman, for example. There should be a new superhero called Frogman that dresses up in Buddhist scholars' clothing. In my humble opinion, if Marvel Studios ever decides to do a Frogman superhero, it should be dressed in Buddhist scholars' clothing. Okay, so you leap like a frog. You don't need to go step by step. It's too slow for us. Okay, Mahayana people like us, we're very impatient. We want our prize and we want it now. Huh? The Chinese, they don't get it. They want to, say, we don't deserve it. Koreans say, we don't deserve it. We're not worthy. In America, say, I'm worthy. What are you talking about? We want it now. Okay. So when are we going to have this party now? Never mind. So we want sudden enlightenment. Okay? How do we get sudden enlightenment? Let me tell you. Let me ask you. Let me tell you. Right? Because you won't know. Anyone have been sudden enlightenment yet? Raise your hands. Don't you dare. I will kill you. It's a state secret. Because you raise your hands, North Koreans will know. Oops. I like Kim Jong-un. Don't hurt me, please. So how do you attain certain enlightenment? Very simple. They're very simple. Only need two things. It's very simple. Okay? It's all in this story between Zhì Chéng, that Chinese monk, and another Chinese monk called Six Patriarch. What happened there is a typical story of sudden enlightenment. Perfect illustration of this sudden enlightenment. What does it involve? Anyone, please, especially Chinese people. You Chinese people should know. You don't, shame on you. What does it take? In this story, it's all here. Oh my God. There's more, but I'm going to simplify it for you into two things only. Actually, if you want, you can write a dissertation on this, and they'll have to give you a PhD in Buddhology, I assure you. But you can't do that. We have to monetize it first. Okay? What does it take? I simplify it for you, two things. Number one, what? Some hands.
It's from Korea. Venerable Shannon says sincerity and good knowing advisor.
Is it North Korea or South Korea? Never mind. Okay, not bad. Next, I saw another hand being raised. Do we need another handheld? Should I buy another one? Okay, fundraiser. I need money to buy a handheld microphone. Yes, green. I'm kidding. You newcomers, don't worry. Don't be scared. When you hear about fundraiser, everyone here kind of turns deaf on the word fundraiser. So you're safe. Yes.
A teacher and a student.
Nice try. Kudos. I'm in a good mood today. Anyone else? Yeah? Anyone? Okay, I tell you then. Germany. Raise your hand so that they can see your hand, otherwise. There you go, thank you. Don't have too high, you're going to strain your arm. Yes, black. Don't worry, it's the typical sound effect, Julie. Unless you need privacy, it doesn't matter at all. Master Shehua's lectures always have kids making a lot of noises in the background. It's kind of status symbol, you know, for us. Yes, black.
You need great blessings and the right condition.
So book-like. I explained to you. You give up? Another brave soul. White.
I would say good knowing advisor and don't quit.
You're all very good. Okay. You're right. Sudden enlightenment, the numero uno of sudden enlightenment is the good knowing advisor. That's number one. The reason that the non-Buddhists, the non-Mahayana people cannot achieve sudden enlightenment is because they don't have a good knowing advisor. See, in the Mahayana, we have a systematic way, the technology, to make it happen time and time and time again. Okay? Outside of Mahayana, in Hinayana or non-Buddhist domains or worlds, they can also attain sudden enlightenment. However, it's like a stroke of luck. It's whatever. It cannot systematized. Okay? So far so good. Mahayana is the only discipline in human history of knowledge, the human store of knowledge, where we know how to create sudden enlightenment. There's technology behind it. Okay? Let the patriarchs know. Okay. So yes, you need a person who knows how to do it. Not just any good know advisor. There are plenty of good know advisors in Buddhism. You go over to the red side, you know. We call them red from now on, right? We blue, they're red. Oops, I take it back. She's falling asleep. She pretends to be asleep. Okay, so she's being singled out today. Poor woman. It takes knowledge. It takes special skills to be able to do that. Because it takes a person, okay, who has a knowledge, who can see, who has timing, timing, is critical. You have perfect timing, if you will. And so that wise teacher can impart the knowledge at the right time. That's number one. That's critical. And it's only available in Mahayana. Nowhere else. Okay, so don't bother. If you're looking for certain enlightenment, the technology, okay, you want to spy on them, have to go to 6th patriarch. Again, see how beautiful that thing is? Even we Buddhists are saying, if you want to spy, if you want to learn about Sudden Enlightenment, you want to spy on it, come to us. We're not afraid. Come and spy on us, by all means. Just don't hurt us, please. Don't poison us. What's that Russian poison again? I forgot. Nachalny or something like that? You don't watch the news at all, do you? Why am I the only person who's most current to the world events, like election and stuff? Okay, so you see, you need to have that instinct, that knowledge and instinct on what to do and when to do it. Okay, that's critical, because sudden it happened because this guy here, this teacher here says suddenly does something that boom, the other person becomes enlightened suddenly. So far, so good. Does it make you wonder that how come the Chinese explain it like this before? Why couldn't we read it somewhere in Mahayana, in Chan, somewhere before? Tell me, please tell me, in Korean, in Japanese, in Vietnamese, Chinese. How come it's not explained like that? And you know why I explain it to you today? Because today I'm in a good mood. Yes, orange.
Master, is it because it's markless?
No, what happened is that the Chinese are too polite. The Asians are too polite. For them, they don't want to come across as being insolent, asking too sharp of a question, too penetrating of a question. That's not respectful in the culture. Am I correct? Yes? So in Chinese, for example, I don't know Korean, but the Chinese, they kind of sort of talk sideways like this. They don't ever say, give it to me. You say, would you consider, loan it to me? Can I take a peek? Here we say, come on, come on. Yes. Green.
Yes, but was that different during the Six Patriarchs' time? Because you always say that his Chinese is very punchy.
That's true, but the problem with being direct is that you don't know how to be direct, because you do it wrong, it becomes insolent. If you do it right, Chan is like in the borderline, on the edge of the cliff. If you know how to do it, you get there quicker. If you don't know how to do it, you fall off the cliff. Okay? Tough luck. So high risk, high reward. Okay? But it's also cultural, because the Asians are not confrontational. And we Western educated people in nowadays, we are a lot more confrontational. Yes? Even I talk to the Chinese who live here. Culturally, they just don't want to confront you, to lay it on you. So I think is one of the main reasons why the Asians, the Chinese in particular, never really articulated this sudden enlightenment and gradual enlightenment concept. To my detriment, because I tried to figure it out. What is the difference? Why is it such a big deal? Okay, in Mahayana, in Buddhism. So now you have it. So number one, you have now it's time in our era, in our domain. Now the Chinese are becoming more Americanized, right? I mean, they gauge a success based on money, on all those things. Whereas in Asia, they look at success back then, in my generation, in prior generations. They look at success as virtue. They look at success as humility. They look at success as a big heart, compassion, all those things, right? Respect and all those things. Okay. Nowadays, it's not as important anymore. Nowadays, it's money, money, and money. Right? That's the bottom line. Let's face it. So that's why it's time for us to move on out of the Chinese shadows and call it as it is, like Howard Cosell used to say. So you have this wise man, okay, who has incredible wisdom, way beyond genius, as we Westerners call them genius. This wisdom is way beyond genius. These people with wisdom look at what we call genius as I look at the small boy there. Okay, so this person who has the knowledge, the acuity, and the sharpness of mind, and the perfect timing to give it to you, so that you become enlightened. So far, so good. That's critical. Number one. So far, so good. Nghe hiểu không? Hey, you, both people. I love her. That's why I make fun. I only make fun of people I like. People I don't like, I'm very respectful. Okay, so we need a teacher. Okay, there aren't many teachers, by the way. My master was one of them. Short master. Okay. And what's number two? What's the other requirements for achieving Sudden Enlightenment? Yes, sir.
Good roots.
Very good. Next. I cannot say bad things today for some reason. Yes. So I'm wearing pink glasses or something. Everything looks so rosy. Anyone? Again, green.
Right timing.
Right timing. Very good. Next. You. You can tell that this lecture is not working yet because I just gave you the answer. You! Jeez, you guys miss all the subtleties of Asian teaching. You! That's what's missing. What kind of you are we talking about? A you who is ready. Yes? Because remember timing, the key word is timing. There's one who gives it to you. Who else? Us. See, meaning all of us. including me. Not just you, me too. Right? We all have equal chances, even the red people. So far, so good. But so us is number two, right? Number one is the giver, and number two the receiver. Remember the timing, impeccable timing. So the you here, the person, the receiver, is given only at the proper time. You see that? The Chinese, they kept it for themselves. They don't tell us. Okay. Yes. Can we switch to the pay channel, please? Yes, White.
So, Master, is there a sense of inevitability about that then, as long as the student is listening to the good knowing advisor?
Absolutely.
It's
It's a matter of time. It's only a matter of time. Because if you quit beforehand, someone said not quitting, that's also true. If you quit before it's ripe, it's not the good knowing advisor's fault. He's paving the way, he's waiting and waiting and waiting. And then when the time is right, that's when you strike the steel. Okay? You understand that? It's that simple. It's no big deal. It's a waiting game. We wait and wait and wait. Both sides. The Chinese monk would say, okay, how much longer? And our side said, hey, hurry up, give it to me. We are a lot more patient than the Chinese. Yes. Go for it. GF question. Oh, I love questions.
Hello, Master. So I have some
Sounds
comments.
familiar. Sounds Chinese.
Yeah, it's a good day today.
From Mountain View.
I just have some comments about what you said before about why the Chinese did not write it down. So two comments. One, that personally, I think the Chinese back in the Tang Dynasty or earlier were a lot more direct than modern times. The way they talk and then write is a lot more direct. I think it's over time it become much more like kind of indirect and then like sideways and all that. And then, as we can see from the 6th Patriarch Sutra, the language, actually the people were just come to business really quickly. The second comment is that I think maybe one of the reasons that the secrets were not written down is because it doesn't really help if you don't really hear this from a good knowing advisor. If you just read this from a book or hear this from some random person, it doesn't carry as much meaning, or we would not believe it. It only makes sense when you tell us like this. Then it really it's really helpful.
Right. I agree with that. There's always a risk of saying too much. Yes. On the other hand, you also the flip side of it is that if you don't document, you don't explain enough, there's also a chance that people would misconstrue it as something else. But actually, it's not a big deal. Okay. So I buy the concept. Yes, absolutely. There is always pros and cons to the ways, and honestly, I agree with the Chinese patriarchs. In China, I agree. Back then, Tang Dynasty until the recent history, I agree with that approach. However, I feel that Buddhism diverse. What's the word? That's the opposite. United. Divided. Thank you. Divided states of America. We don't want it to be so abstract because it's misleading. Okay, because right now, outside of Buddhism, there's concept of enlightenment already, right? So that's why we want to make sure that we differentiate our concept of enlightenment versus the others. Because I'm getting tired of a lot of the Caucasian coming to me and say, yeah, I'm enlightened. Say what? Can I bow to you then? If you see an enlightened person, let me tell you, first thing you do is bow. First thing you do. Okay? Don't think, just bow. It's worth, it will help you win the super lotto later. Okay? Because you get a lot of blessings bowing to an enlightened person. It's incredible amount of blessings. Trust me. Okay? So anyway, so that's why we are a lot more vocal and more obvious, direct, and clear in our explanations. Okay, so that remember, there's a giver of the teaching, the good no advisor, a wise teacher, and then the student, okay, who deserves it. So far, so good? Okay? So, this sudden enlightenment, meaning that the time, at that very moment, the transfer is supposed to occur, right? And as someone aptly pointed out a few minutes ago, that it will happen. Okay? All of you, to all of us, it's going to happen. So the trick is to make it happen quicker, yes, sooner. Because how often can you find someone like Master YongHua, my short, late Chinese teacher? Okay? Not very often. Because after he's gone, look, red states. Isn't it wonderful that Chan has such beautiful double meanings in English? Red states. It refers to red Chan states as well as divided America. Oh, it's okay. What happened to Daniel? I miss him. Too much for him, 2 days in a row. I knew it.
He's
Got a fight?
I don't know. He said he needs to work at home.
Does it sound right to you? Who works at home? Please tell me. I don't. Home is football. Nice try. Anyway, so this I'm leading to relationship between gradual and sudden. You see that? The receiver has to be worthy, has to be ready for it. So far, so good. So the trick for us, is to get ready, get ourselves ready for it. Don't sit there like people who says, "Give it to me. Come on, give it to me. I deserve it." That's what Americans do. Okay? The Chinese said, "No, we don't deserve it. We really don't." Okay? So, but it's still the same process. We have to be ready. We have to be worthy of it, right? So how do we become worthy? Not quitting? Yes? Lower your hands. What else? Red envelope? Yes?
Just keep planting blessings.
Very good. Planting blessings. What else? Very good. You all know it already. I'm simply synthesizing it for you like a DJ. Yes. That's right. See? It takes a Caucasian person from divided America to get it. You have to cultivate gradually, meaning you have to bust your butt. Don't sit there and say, hey, what about me? You say, yeah, what about you? Okay? You have to exert yourself. You have to work hard, and that's called gradual cultivation. So sudden will not happen unless you are prepared for it gradually. Is it clear? Nothing mystical about this. This is facts. And it makes me wonder, why is that? The Chinese didn't tell themselves. Because now the young Chinese, they say, I'm enlightened. Say what? You enlightened? You didn't even work hard and you enlightened already? You see the point? It's misleading. If we spell it out like this, you cannot come to me and say, hey, give it to me. Hey, man, give it to me. I said, okay, gradually give me more and more and more and more. Like someone said, plan your blessings. See that? So you have to apply yourself, okay? The process is you need to apply yourself. You need to work hard. Don't just talk. Don't make excuses. You have to do something, okay? You have to use you earn that moment with your blood and your sweat. That's called gradual cultivation, gradual enlightenment. And if we spell it out like this, it will eliminate a lot of misunderstanding in the future. People say, no, I'm enlightened. I don't need to work hard. Are you kidding me? You don't work hard, you don't deserve it. It ain't gonna be given to you. Nothing. Okay? Everyone has to work hard and stop talking. So far, so good? And that's the relationship between sudden and gradual enlightenment. Sudden depends on gradual. Don't tell me that, hey, I'm here to do only sudden enlightenment. I don't want gradual. Then go to China. It ain't going to happen here. Okay? I'm sure you find some Chinese teachers say, you're right, you don't need gradual. We have sudden. And it doesn't cost much. So far, so good? So, how is this pertinent to this transpired between Zhì Chéng, the spy, and the sixth patriarch? Okay? So, sixth patriarch is the giver of the sudden teaching. Yes? Great giver. I wish I were there. It's one of those things where you say your life is failure because you can't meet such a person in my standards. Okay? If I had the chance to meet someone like the sixth patriarch, just a glimpse at him and listen to his voice in person, I heard it's also very short, by the way. Another short Chinese monk. Something about short Chinese monks are superior. to us tall Americans. Yes. Dream.
Except Master Tian Guo.
Tian Guo is 9 feet, yeah, I know. But that's the other lecture. Today we're talking about short Chinese, not tall Chinese. That's yesterday, was Saturdays. Sundays is short Chinese. You guys don't know, Tian Guo is a Chinese monk who's 9 feet tall. Okay. Imagine the kind of attraction draw at the circus, 9 feet tall. Such a glorious life. 9 feet tall entertainer at Ringing Brothers. Never mind. Okay, so you have the 6th patriarch as a giver of the certain teaching. You have Zhì Chéng, who is the spy, who is the receiver, yes? And why is it given to him? Because he worked very hard under Sheng Xiu, and his incompetent teacher. So when Zhì Chéng, who worked very hard, who came to spy on the 6th patriarch, thousands of miles away on foot, okay? Not by air, Canada. Okay? And he got there, Master Huineng says, hey, there's a spy amongst us. And Zhì Chéng immediately stepped up and said, yeah, you're probably referring to me, I'm no spy. So he worked very hard. He obeyed his teacher. Okay? That's gradual cultivation, by the way. Can I talk about, as a side point, before I forget? And please don't take this wrong about obeying your teacher. Can we talk about it, or you'd rather not? You're not ready yet. On Facebook, I asked my followers to vote for someone. And you know what happened? None of my monks and nuns voted. Big failure in my life. So we had nothing to do with this outcome, okay, as a temple. So you see, we remain neutral after the facts. But they, my monks and nuns, and shame on them, because I've been feeding them, I've been clothing them, I've been giving them shelters, I've been giving them money to go see a dentist, doctors, medicine, eyeglasses, gasoline, cars. What else? Okay? And when I asked them, I asked my followers to vote for, they did nothing. Is that obeying your teacher? You think you're worthy to receive certain teaching? Don't screw up again. You hear? You see, you think I'm joking? They failed the test. Black marks, black eye. Black eye? Did you? Hey, the two of you, did you? White eye? Because that's what differentiates Zhì Chéng. That's what makes Zhì Chéng a superior cultivator. Because why? Because he says, I don't necessarily agree with my teacher sending me over to spy on his rival. You agree with me? That's how Zhì Chéng feels or not? That's the kind of person Zhì Chéng is. He's very loyal, okay? And he disagrees. He's not dumb. Come on. He has morals. Okay? He's a very virtuous and moral person. And yet, when his teacher says, go over there and spy on my rival for me, he did. You get the point? Hey, you get the point? Loyalty. So it's kind of interesting. So Zhì Chéng is so sincere. He's so loyal to his teacher. And that's a big plus, by the way. Huge plus. Okay? And that's part of his gradual cultivation. He went there and see how upright he was. And when the sixth patriarch said, we have a spy amongst us, he stood up right away. No hesitation. Yes? Remember the story? He stood up and said, that must be me. But I'm not a spy. You see that? He's superior dude. I mean, Chinese dude. Okay? So, Zhì Chéng worked very hard, devoted to his teacher, travel long distances to go to spy on the rival. Okay? So, that's called gradual preparation. Is it clear? And because of that, I want you to, in the future, when it's your turn, to teach Sudden Enlightenment, go back to this chapter here and study it very carefully, because it's how it's done. It has all the ingredients of Sudden teaching. That is a shame that the Chinese teachers did not elaborate on this in their explanation of this sutra. That's why that knowledge is lost in the Chinese language. It's not my master doesn't know, he knows. But what happened? He's Chinese. He's going to spell it out for you. All right. Questions or comments? Are you happy? Now you can walk away today. You say, today, if anyone ever asks me about gradual and sudden and enlightenment, I can handle it. Yes. Green.
So you said you need to obey your teacher for gradual progress. Yesterday you talked about a teacher from a monk who was a demon from Myanmar. And let's say if someone who has him as a teacher and he obeyed his teacher, would he have still planted the seeds for sudden enlightenment, or would it be completely different?
What's your name again, son? That's called insolent question in the Chinese standards. If you're in China, you'll be shot. Learn this phrase. 拖出去砍了. Ask the Chinese what it means. Korean, what does it say? You know that phrase? Send it to her, Sang-woo. Send it to Sarah. 拖出去砍了. Here's what happened for you who are not Chinese speaking. Back then, Chinese emperors, they get bored very quickly. So people go in and talk to him, and the emperor look at him and say, I don't like you. So he says, 拖出去斩了. Meaning what? Drag him out of here and cut his head off. Very Chinese. We are much more civilized. We just shoot them ourselves with a Magnum 44. Okay? So, someone asked a question. I don't remember. Did anyone ask a question recently? Okay, I'm glad no one asked any questions. You know, if you at this rate, we will never have guest lecturers. If you ask this kind of questions, you're going to make me lose face. We're not hospitable to our guest lecturers. Control yourself. What was the question again? I forgot. She passed the test again. God, this woman is sharp. See, in Wei-Yang, the test coming and keep on coming, even before you can take a break. You have to be on your toes. So what's the question again? He pretend, let me check the YouTube. He's such a fake. Pass the test, another one. Can you imagine a Chinese lecturing on a 6 Patriarch Sutra like this, laughing and joking around and talking about politics and red and blue and stuff like that? Oh God, it's sacrilegious. Okay? Okay, so I pretend I didn't hear any questions, unless someone wants to remind me, which will force me to answer. Okay, moving on. Okay, so this very encounter between Zhì Chéng and the 6th Patriarch is so beautiful. Okay, and even the way that Master, the 6th Patriarch, gave the teaching, what he chose to give him, is also incredibly wise. Not just the perfect timing, but the instructions themselves are so beautiful. Okay? That's all. That's all you need to know. So far, so good. And because of that, okay, the 6th Patriarch basically says, and then Zhì Chéng was ready, and then the sixth patriarch, and then gave him a 4-line gatha, a 4-line verse. It says so and so and so, and boom, done. And that's masterful, so Chinese. I don't know anyone American here could do that. I just don't know anyone. It's just the sixth patriarch is the best. So that's why we're discussing this, so that it becomes a source of reference for us in the future. And you go back to this and say, let me read it. Do I get it? No, it's okay. Next week, read it again. Read it again. Read it again. Year after year, life after life. And one day, boom, we'll get it. Okay? Because this is a fantastic illustration of sudden teaching. It's complete. Everything is complete in here. One instance. And that's the depth of this sutra that the prior explanations fail to point out. We, English-speaking people nowadays, deserve better. We should know the quality of this teaching. Okay? So far, so good? So, don't try to understand. My whole point, don't try to understand. Just read it. It's whether you read it and say, I got it, or you don't. No big deal. Don't sit there and say, let me see. Sixth Patriarch Sutra, Zhì Chéng, and then timing. So it's just to analyze it for you, to dissect it for you, to help you, convince you this is superior teaching. But what transpired occurred just like that, right then only. Okay? And so after Zhì Chéng became enlightened, he wrote a verse. Okay? That's where we are today. So far, so good? I'm sorry. Took us an hour and a half, an hour and 20 minutes to recapitulate, but add a few more details for you. Okay? Are we on the same page? So far, so good? So I expect red people to reach Sudden Enlightenment during this chanti. If not, go back to red states. So where were we? 78, but okay. Okay, so Zhì Chéng said, I forgot, it's been a few weeks, so I don't remember what Zhì Chéng said. So I want to, honestly, can we keep it between us? Don't say this. Don't repeat this, because it might be offensive to some people. Okay? The Chinese talk too much. If you enlighten, I don't know why the Chinese keep on composing verses. Think about it. You enlighten, so what? Why do you have this? Oh my wonderful, I see the world differently. It's kind of bragging, isn't it? Too Chinese. So the guy, we can laugh about it because we're in America. Whether you from Chinese descent or non-Chinese descent. He says, so after he heard the verses of Master, the Sixth Patriarch Sutra, he says, wow, that's it. He says, my body is not real, okay? If it's not real, How can I be attached to this body? This perception of the ego, of me. That's illusory. That's what it means right here in the verse, the previous verses. So far, so good? That's all it means. And we can go, we went through, dissect what are the 5 skandhas and so forth, it's okay. But next, that's all we are today. Next verses. If you tend toward true suchness, the Dharma is not yet pure.
回去真如，法还不净。
Okay, we have a problem with English translation. Guess what? And we're going to correct it today. Because if you read it like this in English, you will not become enlightened. Like those people. Okay? If not tend toward, okay? If you're seeking, Chu here is your mind, okay? Is always leaning towards, aspiring for that, scheming for that. This is Chinese. Please, Chinese people, correct me if you disagree. What happened to Jane? Jane is never shy about correcting me. And the rest of you Chinese people here are scared of me because I all know you and you're within striking distance. Seriously. Is what Chu mean? I haven't checked my dictionary, but Chu here means that you thirst for that. Yes? Chu. Your mind is always, I want it, I want it, I want it. I cannot live without it. I can't live. I can't do without it. That's the Chu here. That's what it means. This Chu here, the Chinese character, okay? 回去, so is your mind. 回 is your mind from your heart. Okay? It goes to your mind. You always aspire for that. Okay? Like you want to be, like you want to become a billionaire. Right? Day and night. Yes? You want to what's important in life besides money? No one knows? You pass the test again. I'm impressed. These are fast learners. You are fast learners today. Impressive. Translate for the red people first. Never mind. I'm eliminating slow people. Okay, so far so good. So this 回去正如 meaning that you yearn for, you aspire to, you are obsessed about. That's what it means. So for them to translate to tend toward is I don't know how to translate this into English. And my living dictionary took the day off. He was here yesterday afternoon. Okay. Online, invisible video. How would you translate this? I mean, it's a beautiful, the Chinese is very, very, it's excellent. Remember, this is a verse from someone who's enlightened. And the English is from someone who's unenlightened. So there's a mismatch. Okay? That's why they don't get it. Why do I get it? I'm blue. It's in my DNA. Yes? So, if you yearn for true suchness, okay? Phà hải bù jing. That's the next phrase in Chinese here, okay? I claim not to know Chinese, but I know a little bit. It's better to lower expectation yourself and then put yourself on a pedestal like over there. Okay? You see that? Phà hải bù jing meaning what? The Dharma is not yet pure, acceptable. But what does it mean? It is very important. This verse here is very, very important. That proves that Zhì Chéng is enlightened. If you can explain that to me, so are you. I'm entertaining offers. Okay. We have green. Anyone willing to bet? Okay, green. Let's go. We're not going to talk money today either.
Well, I was just going to say, if like you said, the translation says if you yearn for it, you really want it. That means you really want something, and you haven't realized the pure Dharma because you still want it and you're still thinking about it.
Okay. Almost there. 25% there. Anyone else? What does it mean? What's so difficult to remember? Jeez, what a disappointment. That's a black mark. he means method. That's what it means, method. That's it. Okay? Your practice. Your method of practice. Fa is method of practice. Hai is still not bu. Bu, 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 bu. Okay? Bu. Jing is pure. Bu, jing. Okay? So, the Dharma still is not pure. Is still not pure, whatever. But the point here is that he's saying that if you still are ambitious about that, okay, exactly what that senior monk told me. He says, "There's no price," but his English sucks. Of course, there's a price. Okay. Enlightenment is a price. Okay? But if I still seek for enlightenment, I still sought for enlightenment back then it won't happen. That's what he meant. But the words, the English words he used are very unfortunate. Okay? I cannot tell me whether he's Caucasian or Jewish or Catholic, I cannot tell you, or Buddhist, it doesn't matter. The point being that the words you choose and the way you explain it has to be very, very precise for it to be called sudden teaching. You give it to me and you say, there's no price. That's not sudden teaching. Okay? It's called, I don't know what to call it, inferior teaching. Okay? So he says that if you still aspire for enlightenment, then that aspiration, okay, how you go about it is still impure. Meaning that if you want to be enlightened, your heart has to be no greed, no seeking. If you're seeking for enlightenment, you will not get it. Is it clear? So that's what happened to him. He says, all these years, I studied under my Chinese master. Okay, the other Chinese master. You know, they told me, I'm doing enlightenment here. I came, I studied. You know, and lo and behold, the more I study, the more I became impatient. I said, I want it so bad. I want it more. How I spent 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. Oh, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? No one works harder than me. Okay? How come these people in Master Huineng, somewhere else, they got it? How come I don't get it? Okay? It's because no one told me. They only told me there's no price. They didn't tell me that you should not be greedy for it. Because to be greedy is to be impure. Got it? This proves that he's enlightened. Because before he's greedy for it, after he became enlightened, he said, oh, wait a minute, that's what kept me away from this for all these years. Why didn't anyone tell me earlier? You know, it hurts when he looks back after all this euphoria. I'm sure Zhì Chéng will come back and say, oh my God, I suffered so much all the last 4 years. I mean, not Zhì Chéng. No one gets it. Political comment. 4 years of hell. Yes. Internet question.
So we have a question from Tian Guo. The question is, what level of enlightenment is sufficient for one to teach Sudden Enlightenment, to explain the 6th Patriarch Sutra, and to explain the Avatam Sutra?
I'm speechless. This is not an insolent question. This is a question from the demons. I refuse to answer questions from demons. Okay, sir, do you have a question? And the question is actually, what do I know, to be truthful? Okay. The question to her, the answer to her is that, what is level? I say, I don't know. Green.
Master sounds like this is his process that he has to go through for him to become enlightened. Has he not going through this?
No.
He would not be able to?
Plenty of pathways. Yeah.
Okay.
Not true. Go Forest is a question. Go ahead, go Forest.
Thưa Thầy, con Nguyên Forest có câu góp ý. Cái ngày trí thường nó quay lại cái thanh tịnh thì không được thanh tịnh. Thì vẫn còn có cái động tác mà quay trở lại mình. Khi Mã Tổ hỏi cái gì Tăng giảng kinh Kim Cang, Mã Tổ kêu Đại Đức. Thì ông Tăng quay lại rồi nhìn Mã Tổ rồi không biết nói sao rồi bỏ đi. Rồi Mã Tổ nói ông thầy đần độn. Làm sao mà chỉ cho cái không đó mà ông thầy không biết. Thì bây giờ cái ông trí thường này còn quay trở lại nhìn cái thanh tịnh, cho nên mới nói là not fear. Cho nên khi mà Ngài Xá Lợi Phất và Ngài A Nan cũng nói như vậy thì hỏi Ngài Di Ma Cật chứ ông hiểu sao. Ngài Di Ma Cật làm thinh không trả lời. Lấy cái gì mà đem cái đó ra mà nói mà trình bày cái chân tâm cái không đó được. Cho nên Ngài Di Ma Cật làm thinh. Cái làm thinh nó mới là thanh. Còn mấy người này là nói ở cái này thanh tịnh, cái kia không tịnh. Được với mất là thanh tịnh là pháp hai bên rồi. Hỏi tới Ngài Di Ma Cật, ông đáp đi, Ngài Di Ma Cật làm thinh.
You get it? Did you get it? Doesn't matter. It's good. Wrong. He's wrong. He's wrong because he doesn't understand the Chinese here. He misunderstands that Hui, Chinese Hui here has a meaning. It has one meaning, multiple meanings. One is still, one is to turn around. Here doesn't mean turn around, it means still. It's nothing to be turned around. Okay? I know I'm no Chinese, but I'm 100% sure it's still, not turn around. He looks at this character as to turn around. It's not. That's why his point is wrong. Next. Oh, there's a commentary on slide 81. Second slide today. Okay. We need to correct this. Dharma is up here. Still has a thought. Oh well. Too Chinese. Next, 82. Sutra Text. The Master approved. See? Honest to God, I didn't know. I didn't read this beforehand. Just from this thing you can tell, from his 4-line verses, it demonstrates that he's enlightened. Okay. The Master approved, and he said further to Zhì Chéng, your Master's morality, concentration, and wisdom exhort those of lesser faculties and lesser wisdom.
师然之，复与臣曰：汝师戒定慧，劝小根智人。
Okay. Well, I don't understand Ran Chu here. I don't know Ran here. Maybe agree. Maybe the Chinese understand. He agrees. Okay, I didn't understand the use. I didn't know the use of Ran, this Chinese character like that. So thank you. I learned something new today. Okay, I'm happy. I didn't waste my time talking to you. No money in it. Hint, hint. Okay. 痴然之富语整业，有些定会，劝小根之人。It's not to exhort. It's much more vicious. Vicious. Master Huineng has no compassion. He's a vicious monk. The proof is right here. He's a very vicious teacher. Chinese people disagree with me. Only it takes a non-Chinese person to dare. Hey, you guys realize it? I'm not Chinese, by the way. Those of you who are not Asians. I'm not Chinese. Okay? And it takes a non-Chinese person to dare challenge them, to tell them that Master Huineng is very vicious. This is very vicious attack. Anyone? Chinese disagree with me? And this is so Chan, because you don't understand Chan. This is so Chan teaching. That's why we can't blame those people. They don't understand Chan. Anyone? Taiwanese people. Zhijiang, anyone? Golden Forest, yes. Go ahead, go forest.
Sorry, this is a question for the last part about the seeking enlightenment. So Master, you've been saying this a lot recently, and today you also said that we should want to get enlightened, to have that as our goal. And I do understand that we talk about that we can want to get enlightened but not be greedy about it. But I feel it's really hard to do that. Is it okay to be greedy about enlightenment before a certain stage, and it only become a problem later? And also, as in Venerable Zhì Chéng's example, he was greedy about enlightenment before he got enlightened. Only after that he felt that he realized that it was wrong. And then if he had known this earlier, does that mean that he would have got enlightened much faster?
No. It's a good question. It's a good question from a Chinese person. That's very good. That's a very good question. What you're missing the point here is that I didn't dare explain it to you, is that actually, would you like to know what Zhì Chéng really meant? I'm no Chinese, but this is how I read it. I don't dare tell you. Okay? Because hurtful. I have compassion, unlike the sixth patriarch. Zhì Chéng, he said, for me, to use this approach of thirsting for, yearning for enlightenment is impure. What he means by that is that, why didn't my teacher stop me and teach me or correct me? That's what he meant. That's a very Chinese way of saying, oh teacher, oh teacher, oh teacher. You see that? It broke his heart. I adore you. I revered you. I'm loyal to you. I gave my life to you. Why didn't you teach me? It hurts. He's heartbroken. Okay? Not only for him, but also for his teacher. See that? So for me to explain it to you is very harmful. I mean, very hurtful to Sheng Xiu and to the Chinese people. So I didn't want, I kind of glossed over it until a Chinese person asked me. So it's not my fault. You get it, huh? Chinese person from Go Forest?
Yes, but there are some parts of my question, maybe you haven't got them.
Which part?
The part that it's really hard to not to be greedy about getting enlightened while really setting that as a goal. And then it's okay to do that before a certain stage. Does it only matter for the really the one stage?
It's like a person who asked me a question and answered her own question, and then he asked me, can you answer the question? That's why I said, which part didn't I answer? You answer yourself already. What do you want me to answer it for? Go back to YouTube video. Listen to your own question. You notice that you answered your own, that part of your question already.
Okay, thank you, Master.
He didn't sound convinced. He says, how did I miss that? So Chinese. Yes. Okay. YouTube question.
Yeah, so we have a question from Tian Guo. The question is, Master, what does it mean not seeking or greedy to enlightenment? What does that look like? Could you show us?
I can very easily show you where is he from? Tian Guo. Where is he situated, I mean? Not in Los Angeles. We don't have people like that. Must be Northern California. Can you show it? Oh, God. It's not about me showing you. It's about you not doing it. Okay? So like that, the other Chinese person, Tian Guo is clearly Chinese. Or is it Taiwanese? The Taiwanese get very upset and you call them Chinese. But, you know, it's just like this prior question from the Chinese person. He says, is it okay to, like Zhì Chéng, you know, look at the story of Zhì Chéng. He was thirsting for enlightenment, right? So he drove himself. That was the driving force for him during all those long years. He's just, I want it, I want it, I want it, I want it. So he got closer and closer. And then he met Master Hui Neng. And then what? Master Hui Neng says, drop it. He said, like, see that? That's what he says. So he basically says, you have to, that helps you, that greed help you in your gradual enlightenment, gradual pursuit, right? But when you get the sudden enlightenment, that's when you have to drop it. That's all it means. Is that clear, Chinese person from Gold Forest?
Yes, very clear.
That's why I said you answered yourself already. That's what you said. But I explained it a little bit more precisely for you. That's all. But you answered yourself. Okay? Yes, you have to be greedy. That's gradual enlightenment. Greed is the driving force behind gradual enlightenment. Can you see it now? Okay? But it help prepare you, so it's like, it's almost boiling. Okay? And that's when the sixth patriarch increase the gas a little bit. And okay? Another Go Forest question? No? No more questions? We done? Okay. Now the questions here. Green. Let's give it to Green.
Sheng Xiu. This main Venerable Sheng Xiu has not been enlightened yet. Because he did not have the method of teaching his students.
Did we mention anything like that? Disrespectful in our prior lectures? Sheng Xiu is an idiot. Famous idiot. Yes, Black.
So this current slide, is that why Master Sixth Patriarch said this? Because he saw that his teacher had failed him, and in the past, the slide before that, the monk had said, my teacher failed me, like you said. And so is this why he's saying all these?
No. He doesn't get into personal feelings between Zhì Chéng and Sheng Xiu. It's too messy. Oh well. Today, can I explain to you why I said this is a vicious attack? Right here. This is where it's so vicious of an attack. Okay? Oh, man. I didn't even catch it when I prepared for this. Train. Okay? Train here. Exhort, no less the faculties. He means that this teaching here is only relevant to the small roots and lesser wisdom people. Yes, quite.
Master, is he saying that your master wasn't worthy to help you the way you needed to be helped?
He says, you have no business being there. See, you realize it now? You have no business being there. That short Chinese monk, pull your legs. Because you're not lesser faculties and wisdom of a person. It's kind of not nice. I don't think he has to say this. but he had to say it, he didn't have to say this to, he didn't mean to say it to Zhì Chéng, but he has to say it for us. If he declared it, okay, he says, 成修 Dharma is 劝小跟智人, he says like this, okay, to everyone, then it's very, very offensive. But because Fa Hai, the guy who transcribed this sutra, was there, he heard it. That's why I look at it as very vicious, because it gets recorded. You understand? So I suspect 6th Patriarch is kind of vicious as a person. I'm kidding. Jeez, I would not dare. He's a bigger idol of mine. I love him. Love short Chinese monks. Okay, next. Can we move on? You're gonna get me in trouble if you keep on asking questions. I have a big mouth. Oh, time is up. Thank you, Lord. 86 next time. Thank you all for coming. Yeah. Let's say for all the merit and virtue here, blessings we generated and we shared amongst ourselves. And that's transfer them to these people to help them go to the Pure Land. Okay. All right. It's nice that we have a chance to elaborate on this sudden teaching, Dharma door of the Chinese have. Okay, this is very, very Chinese. It's superior Chinese teaching. Thank you. Hey, let's go do it.
Hello, YouTube.
Oh, well, he just video bombed my important sutra lecture.